eyes. Everything was different. For the first time, I wasn't afraid. No police, no shadows, no tunnels, no nightmares. Just peace. The kind of peace I couldn't remember ever having. Then I heard a voice. "Daddy!" I looked down. A little girl was running toward me, smiling, laughing, like she'd known me her whole life. Daddy? I didn't understand, but somehow, hearing that word felt right. I had a wife, a daughter, a home, everything I'd ever wanted, everything I'd ever dreamed of. And somehow, they felt real, more real than any life I'd lived before. At breakfast, my wife smiled at me. "You've been staring at us all morning." I wanted to tell her the truth, that I didn't know who I was, that I didn't know how I got there. But when I looked at them, none of that seemed important anymore. Days passed, then weeks. For the first time, I stopped thinking about waking up. Maybe the woman was wrong. Maybe this wasn't a trap. Maybe this wasn't another illusion. Maybe this was my reward. Maybe this was the life I was supposed to choose. One afternoon, my daughter grabbed my hand and looked up at me. "Promise you'll never leave us." Without thinking, I smiled, and I promised. Then one night, everything changed. We were having dinner, laughing, talking, being a family. And then, it happened. The glitch. For 1 second, my daughter disappeared. The dining room vanished, and I saw a hospital room, bright lights, machines, doctors. Then it was gone. Just like that, everything returned to normal. But I couldn't forget what I saw. Later that night, I heard a voice, a familiar voice. "You're forgetting." I turned around, and there she was, the woman, standing in the darkness, watching me. Again. She looked at me and said something I didn't want to hear. "This life isn't real." I felt anger rising inside me. "I don't care." And for the first time, I meant it. She looked at me sadly. Then she whispered, "That's exactly what they all said. The people who never woke up." Then she handed me a photograph, a family picture. My family. But as I stared at it, the image started changing. The smiles disappeared. The house disappeared. The happiness disappeared. And underneath it was a hospital photograph, a hospital bed, machines, doctors, and me. I wanted to believe she was lying. I needed her to be lying, because if this life wasn't real, then neither was my family. For the first time, I cried. Not because I was afraid, because I didn't want to lose them. The woman stepped closer. "The longer you stay, the harder it becomes to leave." Then I saw my daughter standing in the distance, alone. Everything around her was turning dark, like reality itself was falling apart. But she wasn't afraid. She was smiling. She looked directly at me and softly said, "Daddy, please don't wake up." And in that moment, I realized something terrifying. The perfect life I'd always wanted might be the very thing keeping me trapped. For the first time, I found a life worth keeping, and that made it the most dangerous life of all.